Hello, everyone, and welcome again to our English class. And today we're going to have another interesting lesson. But before I move further, let me share to you something first, and please tell me something about it. Please tell me, what does he usually do? Can you look at the picture? What does he usually do? Can you make a sense out of this picture, please? Let me see if your sentence is right. He usually reads books. Next one. Please tell me, what does she play? Can you look at the picture and make a sentence? Let me see if your sentence is correct. She plays the piano. Very good. Now, based on the pictures that I have just shared to you, can you guess what do you think is our lesson for today? Let me see if your guess is right. Today, we're going to talk about simple present tense. But before I move further, let me share to you first our learning objectives for today. Learning objectives. Given the manifestation, students should be able to, number one, understand the usage of simple present tense and its rules. Number two, identify which verbs to use in constructing simple present sentences. Number three, construct their own sentences using simple present tense. Let's proceed. Learning objective number one, understand the usage of simple present tense and its rules. Now we have to remember that there are some rules that we have to consider when we use simple present tense. Rule number one, we can actually use simple present tense if we talk about regular habits or daily routine. So if we keep on doing things regularly, that's when we can use simple present tense. So use the simple present tense to express the idea that an action is repeated or usual. The action can be a habit, a hobby, a daily event, or something that often happens. So once again, we can use simple present tense for regular habits or daily routine. Okay, consider the following examples below. I play soccer. So it might be you always play soccer every day. And example number two, the school opens every morning at 7 a.m. So the school opens, take note, every morning. So this is a habitual action at 7 a.m. Take note of that. And next example, every 12 months, the Earth circles the sun. So this is a routine that every 12 months, the Earth circles the sun. So this is when we can use simple present tense. So once again, we can use simple present tense rule number one if we always doing things regularly. Take note. Rule number two. Now we can actually use, or we can also use simple present tense for facts or generalizations. If we talk about facts, generalizations, we can also use simple present tense. Now, the simple present can also indicate the speaker believes that a fact was true before, is true now, and will be true in the future. Take note. It is not important if the speaker is correct about the fact. It is also used to make generalizations about people or things. Okay, so example, cats like milk. So most cats like milk. So this is a fact. Okay. Number two, Caracas is the capital of Venezuela. So this is a fact that Caracas is the capital city of Venezuela. And windows are not made of wood. So this is also like something general that most windows nowadays are not made of wood. Okay, so once again, rule number two, we can use simple present tense if we talk about facts or generalizations. Rule number three, We can also use simple present tense for scheduled events in the near future. Okay, scheduled events in the near future. Speakers occasionally use simple present to talk about scheduled events in the near future. This is most commonly done when talking about public transportation, okay? But it can be used with other scheduled events as well. Consider the three examples below. First example, the bus leaves tonight at 6 p.m. So this is something a schedule, okay? That the bus leaves tonight, it is scheduled to leave tonight at 6 p.m. Okay, so when do we board the plane? And the party starts at 8 o'clock. So this is also a scheduled event. Dot. The party is being planned. It's being scheduled. Okay, it must be started at 8 o'clock in the evening. Okay, now the simple present is used with the following adverbs. So again, simple present tense often use these adverbs here. Okay, always, often, usually, sometimes, rarely, never, every day. Like number one, I always come to school by car. Okay, so this is like a fact. Okay, I always come to school by bus. And this sentence here is you use the adverb always. Okay, and number two, I don't come here very often. So often is being used here as an adverb. He usually eats breakfast at 7 a.m. So this is a daily routine. And usually is an adverb here. Sometimes I go to party. So sometimes here is the adverb. She rarely cooks. Okay, rarely here is an adverb. And he is never late for class. Never. They sleep early every day. So this is a regular habit. Now take note. In order for you to make the sentence complete, you always have to put full stop or period at the end of every sentence. Again, put full stop or period at the end of every sentence in order for you to make the sentence complete. Okay, take note. This time, let's talk about grammar rules. So what are the rules that we have to consider if we use simple present tense? Okay, rule number one, very easy. To form the simple present, we add s to the infinitive of the verb in the third person singular. Again, we have to add s, the third person singular. What does it mean, third person singular? When we talk about he, she, and it, these are what we call third person singular. So, again, we have to add s to the infinitive of the verb. We have to add s in the verb if we talk about the third person singular. So again, I live, he, she, it lives. So we have to add s at the end of the verb if we talk about the third person singular. Okay? If we also talk about third person, like a plural, we don't have to add s at the end of the verb. So I sing, he, she, it sings. So you have to add s at the end of the verb because he, she, it. Okay? Take note of that. Rule number two. But when the verb ends in O, SS, SH, CH, or CH, X, we add ES. So O, SS, SH, CH, X, we add ES at the end of the verb. I go. Okay, I go. So it ends with O. So we have to add ES. So he, she, it goes. I kiss. It ends with SS. So he, she, it kisses. I watch. It ends with CH. So watches. He, she, it watches. I wash. He, she, it washes. ES. I fix. So it ends with X. So he, she, it fixes. Take note. Now, A consonant. Okay, a consonant followed by Y changes into IE and we add ES. So a consonant. So again, a consonant followed by Y changes into IE and we add ES. Okay, so say for example, I study. Okay, I study. So D here is a consonant. Okay, and after the consonant, we have to add IES. So he, she studies. Okay, so I study. So after that, consonant D, we have to add IES. So I study. In order for it to make it into singular, he, she studies. IES. If a consonant followed by Y. Okay, so D here is a consonant. So after D is Y. So we have to add IES. However, a vowel followed by Y, we just simply add S. Okay, a vowel followed by Y, we just simply add S. Say for example, I play. So A here is a vowel. And after that, after the vowel is Y, so we have simply add S. So I play, he, she plays. As easy as that. Okay. Now this time, let's talk about to form the negative and the interrogative. So when you say interrogative, this is just a question. Okay, interrogative means you have to formulate a question. So to form the negative and the interrogative, we need the auxiliary verb do. Okay, we need auxiliary verb do and does actually in the present simple. This means we have to add es in the third person singular. Add es in he, she, and it, while the main verb will be used in the infinitive. Example. In the left part, the left portion, so this is what we call the interrogative, and the right side, this is what we call the negative sentences. Okay, so how can we form that? Now, first interrogative, the yes or no question. The first is we have to put first the auxiliary verbs do and does. Afterwards, the what's this? The pronouns and the verb. So once again, auxiliary verbs do and does, pronouns, and the verb. Now, use do or use do for I, you, and they. Use does for the pronouns she, he, and it. And then the verb. Example, do I like, do you like, do they like? For singular, does she like, does he like, and does it like? One important reminder here, does. When you have the auxiliary verb does here, you don't have to put s at the end of the verb. Okay, that's the rule. If you have the auxiliary verb does, you don't have to put s at the end of the verb. Take note. Now, on the right side, we have what we call the negative sentences. Again, negative. Negative, it's simply because we have the don't and doesn't. That makes it negative. Okay? Now, use don't for the pronouns I, you, and they. And use doesn't for the pronouns she, he, and it. I don't like, you don't like, they don't like. She doesn't like, he doesn't like, and it doesn't like. Now, again, doesn't is negative, and then don't put s here because we have does and doesn't here. Again, and once again, please don't forget to put full stop or period in order for it to make the sentence complete. Now, this time we are going to talk about WH questions or the grammar structures. For affirmative, negative, and interrogative. Now, when we say affirmative, it's simply known as positive sentence. Negative and interrogative. So once again, affirmative is what we call positive sentence. I live, you live, he lives, she lives, it lives, We live, you live, and they live. And once again, when the subject is singular, he, she, it, we have to add s at the end of the verb. Take note. For negative, again, we can say it negative just simply because we can say the word doesn't and don't. I don't live, you don't live, he doesn't live. Again, no s here because we have doesn't here or does. She doesn't live, it doesn't live. We don't live, you don't live, and they don't live. Negative. Interrogative, or the yes or no question. Again, we have to put the auxiliary verbs do and doesn't first, and then the pronouns and the verb. Okay, do I live? Do you live? Does he live? Does she live? Does it live? Okay, so again, does, no S here. So take note of that. Now, this time we're going to talk about WH question in simple present tense. Again, what does it mean, WH questions? What are these WH questions? We simply talk about what, when, who, how, and where. These are what we call WH questions. And to formulate, or the structure, is we have to put first the WH questions, what and when, or who, or how. Again, WH first. Second is the auxiliary verbs do and does, and then the pronouns here, and then the verb. That's easy as that. Okay, for example, what do you do on Saturday morning? What does she do on weekdays? When do you go to school? When does he play? Okay, that's how you formulate your WH questions using simple present tense. To answer the questions, what do you do on Saturday morning? I have breakfast in a restaurant. What does she do on weekdays? She does exercise. She does. She, the subject, and then does. Singular form. When do you go to school? We go to school on weekdays. Okay. When does he play? He plays soccer on Wednesday. Take note of that. Learning objective number 2. Or before that, to sum up everything, okay, when the subject is singular, okay, you have to add s in the verb when the subject is singular. Okay, for example, he plays soccer on Wednesdays or Wednesday. He is singular here, and we have to add s in the verb. However, when the subject is plural, we don't have to add s at the end of the verb. See, for example, we is plural. So you don't have to put s here. So just simply we go. So when the subject is plural, we don't need to put s at the end of the verb. However, if the subject is singular, you have to put s at the end of the verb. Take note. All right. So learning objective number 2. Identify which verbs to use in constructing simple present sentences. Directions. Choose the correct form of the verb to complete the sentences below using simple present tense. Numbers 1 to 2. So again, identify first the subject. And when the subject is singular, add s in the verb. And then when the subject is plural, you don't have to add s in the verb. Take note. Number 1. It blank a lot in the Philippines. So the subject here is what? Okay, when your subject is it, and you get it right, and it is singular, so you will say it rains a lot in the Philippines. Add s, because this is singular. They always blank TV in the evening. Okay, and then what's the subject here? It's they. So therefore, when the subject is they and it is plural, you don't need to add s. So it's they always watch TV in the evening. Okay, numbers 3 to 6. English people blank animals. So what's the subject here? So, can you guess? All right, so the subject here is people or English people. And it is singular. Is it singular or plural? It is plural. Very good. So when the subject is plural, You don't need to add s in the verb. So it will say, you can say, English people like animals. Very good. Number 4, the banks or the banks blank on Sundays. This is negative. And the subject here is banks. And it is plural. So once again, when the subject is plural, you have to use what auxiliary verb? Don't. Okay, so the banks don't open on Sundays. Number 5, I blank understand. Can you say I know understand? Absolutely not. So you will say I don't understand. Number 6, what blank you need. What is the subject here? Of course, the subject here is you. So you will say, what do you need? All right, numbers 7 to 8. This is interrogative. Yes or no question. Number 7. Blank, she live in Manila. What's the subject here? It's she. Therefore, when the subject is singular, you have to use the auxiliary verb does. You will say, does she live in Manila? Yes, she does. No, she doesn't. All right. Number 8. What time blank they arrive? This is WH. So, the subject here is they. Very good. So you will say, what time do they arrive? Fantastic. I hope that you've learned on this activity. But I want you to do more. Learning objective number 3. Construct their own sentences using simple present tense. But this time, I would like you to create, to construct, to make your own sentences using simple present tense based on the pictures given. Now write your own simple present sentences based on the pictures given. Number 1. Can you make your sentence? Okay, let me see if your sentence is correct. The dog eats its food. Okay, the subject here is dog, and then the verb here is eats. Singular subject, it needs s in the verb. So the dog eats its food. All right, number 2. Actually, you can formulate 2 sentences right here based on this single picture. First sentence. The teacher teaches her students. So what's the subject here? Teacher, which is singular. So when the subject is singular, you have to add s in the verb. So teaches her students. Number 2. The students listen to their teacher. The students listen to their teacher. So subject here is students, which is plural. So therefore, when the subject is plural, you don't have to put s at the end of the verb. Take note of that. Number 3. Can you make a sentence? Okay, let me see if you got it right. They play football. Okay, the subject here is they, and this is plural. So it doesn't need an s in the verb. Take note. Now, this time, this is the plenary, so I'm going to show to you 2 sentences. Okay, and please tell me if these sentences are correct or not. Sentences 1 and 2. Number 1, my brother eats snacks. Is this sentence correct based on the discussion that we had? If you say wrong, and then you really understood my discussion, because this sentence is wrong. How can you correct this sentence? You will say, my brother eats snacks. So brother is singular, so it needs s in the verb. Okay, number 2, my classmates play football. Is this sentence correct? Identify the subject first. Classmates, plural. So once again, when the subject is plural, we don't need s to the verb. So this sentence is absolutely correct. Okay, thank you so much. So again, please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much, my dear student. Thank you.